Hey everybody, welcome to Gaming with Vindicator, where we're building the city of Mikelsfjord. And I can't stop saying it, but I'm in love with my downtown, and so it's really coming together. But we have a lot more space to fill below this highway here. And so last episode we went and we built this, I think it worked out great, government area. This is our national parliament and the buildings that go along with it. And we built some gardens around it, threw in a church for good measure. And of course, at the end of the episode, half of everything burnt down. So it's gonna be some time before the trees revive themselves, before they, shake off all the soot from everything. But you know, it looks pretty damn great in my mind. So we're doing something wonderful. However, we are not done with our government work here. We have all of the political buildings over here on this side, for sure. All of these sort of ancient buildings. But we need the administrative side. We need the public service. And so that's what we're going to build on this side today. We're going to work on everything from the left side of the railroad and on the north side of this arterial here and the south side of the highway. So we're going to fill all of this in today. And it's not just going to be government buildings, but we are going to be creating some ministries for the country. We're going to be creating a United Arctic Nations today, and we're going to create some residential and commercial, of course. But first things first, we want to go back over to our newly minted, let's say, financial district, and we want to give this district a proper name. And so, of course, because we are a Nordic theme build, we're sticking with Nordic names. Elizabeth doesn't sound like a terribly Nordic name to me, so we're going to call this Borsen. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that improperly, but Borsen, or something like that, is a 17th century stock exchange in Copenhagen. So we're going to try and get the proper characters for that. Here we go. Wonderful, and that is our stock exchange district. And over here we had created a couple episodes back this residential district, Underhill Park, not terribly non-British, so we're going to call it Frederiksberg. Brilliant. So we're keeping up with our naming. I've renamed this pedestrian area Parliament because I'm creative like that. But let's tackle the elephant in the room. This junction here, this highway service interchange, oh boy, it's really not working. And the reason for that is because it's just overloaded. There are so many people trying to get downtown from out of town and other parts of the region, and they just don't have the capacity. This little connection here, you know, it's got more capacity, but it's not being used as much as I'd like. So there's only one solution in my mind, and that is to create another highway interchange right here. We're going to take some of the pressure off this ridiculousness and just rebuild this whole section a little bit. And I'm going to jump into a quick time lapse, and here we go. Aha, so there is one thing I need to do before I can finish this interchange here, and that is put in a ferry line. You can see it's way too low. I think it might just be the rail line, but we're going to just adjust all of these bridges just to make sure, and so I'll just do a quick rebuild on this bridge over the river here. All right, that took a little bit of doing, but the bridge is higher now. The ferries can get underneath when we finally get to it. We'll have to adjust some bridges down the river as well, but we're, one thing at a time, slowly, It looks passable, and we can continue. And I've given ourselves 4 lanes on this side just so that we have an extra turning lane to connect to this little intersection right here. So let's continue building this out. And in order to get my off-ramp from this side to curve underneath the highway and connect here, I'm gonna have to actually scale back on some of this residential, so we're gonna take it out now. I think I can run this again. I believe everything's connected. So coming down the highway here, we have the off-ramp. I've made that 2 lanes just so there's somewhere for them to back up. We have the way to get it down this side and come out to this lane. We have one from the opposite direction coming underground and popping out here. We have one going on, we have one going down and under and over. We have this merging here. That should probably be a 2-lane, but we're gonna just leave it and see how it goes. That looks pretty great, so awesome. All right, so what's next? Yeah, so there is one more road that I wanna add here before it gets too crazy. I feel like this end of this collector here should meet up with this. This will be a collector now as well. So we're gonna just build that out and we're gonna clear a few trees. Great, I can live with that. That's a little bit more connectivity between Volina over here and the government district, and we'll just build out the road network a little bit more. And that's gonna require rebuilding this train bridge. I want this road to go through, and it's just not gonna get over this tunnel here. So we'll just back it off a little bit and see what we can do here. Very nice rebuild. I like it. So we're gonna clean up the power line eventually, but the train is working now. We've got our road connection here, and let's see what else we can do. Okay, I know exactly what I want to do. I would like to follow up on an offhand comment I made last episode that, see, this is the old Grand Central Station. This was the train station for the downtown before we installed the modern monstrosity over here. But there used to be rails going into this, and so the trains would kind of feed in this direction on their switching tracks and then end up in this station. I think that land was repurposed as a park, and so we are going to show that there was an old park here. We're going to rebuild, and we're going to I'll show you what I mean now with the new road layout. Another thing that's becoming a bit of a challenge is these posts for the bridge. So I'm actually going to switch this to the other style, and that should remove the posts and let me get in just a few more little nice touches here. So we'll upgrade this all the way along. And that is the American 4-lane stone bridge. Is that what it's called? Truss bridge. And I think it looks fantastic. So we've gained a slight bit of, well, really a cell on each side of the bridge in order to get in some pathways, and just so that I can extend this road a little bit as farther than I wanted to. So now you can see what I have in mind. There was a rail corridor here back in the day, and this was connecting to the junction here. Way before the highway was installed, way before any of this spaghetti mess was here, there was a rail and quite a lot of rail traffic coming into this station here. However, you know, obviously the grid developed in a certain pattern because of that, and so this is going to give me the opportunity to do something a little bit more interesting on this side of the government district here, and turn the grid a little bit. So let's see how we can make this look great. I knew there was a reason I saved this tower, and it's a good one because we are creating the centerpiece of our government district with the United Arctic Nations. I definitely like it better as United Arctic Nations. So this is the place where all the nations of the Arctic Circle meet to discuss politics and things of that nature. So here we are becoming a real global capital with the installation of this building. And let's flesh out the road network. Another super cool building I wanted to include is this police intelligence agency, and I'll probably flip it around, but I thought that would be a really cool addition to the government district is to have this spy building over here. So it's definitely gonna sit in this spot, and let's see what else we can add. The media broadcast building, something I never really knew where to use it, but it does kind of look like a government building, and I think it will function perfectly as our Ministry of Propaganda. Excellent, love it. And so before I got too carried away with putting in buildings, I definitely wanted to level out a bit more of a pad here because I have some plans for this area as well. Let's get some of that in here now. It's telling me there's water here. I don't see any, but we'll just have to mess with it a little bit until we can get it. Problem solved. And I really do love the new what is it? The treasure hunt pack. The Creator's Library. This is absolutely beautiful. I do love how there's all this text on the side of the building. It's got all these built-in paths that we can connect to, and I think it's going to function very well as a Ministry of Defense. And we'll spell it the British way because we're somewhere in Europe. Let's do that. And we want a monorail station in here, but of course the roads are giving me some trouble with the cells, the zones, so we're gonna fix that up a little bit and perfect it as like so. Let's get that monorail station in. And I think this will be a perfect spot for our monorail station. You know, we have one downtown here right in front of the main train station, all the other transport hubs. We've got one, of course, on the zoo on this line, but then we have nothing until this spot, which is intentional. This monorail system I'm seeing as a rapid transit network. The subway is going to be able to drop people at this corner and at this corner, but we do want to have a monorail station in this direction so we can help people travel faster. And let's turn this into a little bit of a plaza and see what we can do with it. So to me, this is the perfect asset for a United Nations style building with all these international flags. Well, actually there's quite a few German flags, but hey, who's counting? But yeah, we're gonna fit it in here. The only problem is it's one of those buildings that doesn't center on a road like this. So I'm gonna use my little trick. We're gonna take our regular road, we're gonna turn everything off except road length, and we're gonna squeeze it here, one tile off of the United Nations building here, and I'm going to center it in the middle of these other cells, and I'm gonna go and end it at the same spot in the middle of another cell on the other side. And now that's offset by half a tile on the other side. We can center it perfectly, delete that road and put the road back. And what can we do next? You know what, I think these 2x2s will be perfect for some of those new Railroads of Japan assets. But first, before I forget, let's get in a subway station as well. This is another transport hub, a very important area, so we'll get a station in. I think that's gonna work so well. Let's finish up this plaza. Yeah, I really love these 2x2 parks. They're nothing fancy, but they just fit such a great niche, and because there's a lot of spaces in my city, and I've noticed other cities that just, there's nothing that would fit there otherwise. So to clean this up, finally, we're gonna use some of the airport apron to put down concrete, make it look real sharp. To me, that is looking phenomenal. Okay, great. So let's connect up this this line here and think about what the best way to do that will be. And we are connected. All right. I'm just going to think about running this line a little bit past here so I don't build anything inadvertently on the other side. And we'll flip this building around just so that we get the parking on the back side and we get the nice facade on this side. Wonderful. And by the way, this functions as a police station, so that's pretty handy given that our next closest police station is somewhere downtown here. And so that will definitely help the land values and help catch some criminals. What's next? Now, I wanted to get a road in here that is square 90 degrees with this one so that we kind of line up that grid. And I want it to connect in a certain spot. I'm just gonna make sure that I can get it exactly where I want it here. It's not exactly perfectly straight. I might adjust that a little bit. We'll worry about that in a little bit. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. We're actually going to delete all these rocks because I have plans for this area as well. Now I'm adding some zoning in here just in hopes of getting the power to jump, and I'll add a few other things to hopefully make that happen, and we'll get there in just a second. Hey, and that fits perfectly. This is the Grand Library, which I believe actually functions as a library. Let's check on that. I'm pretty sure. No, I guess not. I could have sworn. I think the Creators Library does, however. It just needs power and water. This one is strictly a tourist building, but for our purposes, it's gonna look really nice on the waterfront, and we're going to actually call this another ministry. The Ministry of Silly Walks, which is an homage to one of the best shows ever made, which is Monty Python. So awesome, here we go. Ooh, we're just using all the fun assets today. This is the Medical Laboratory, which is a content creator pack asset from, I forget which update. They're all blurring in my head again, but it's from the healthcare pack. And let's flesh out this block. In fact, let's give this commercial, and we'll put in some parking lots behind this thing. And we can fit one of our beautiful new other parks behind this. Yeah, that variation is actually probably the one I would have chosen. So we'll leave that there. And we'll get in a little bit of concrete here. Or do we want concrete? I don't know if we want concrete. We'll detail that at the end. Road layout's coming together, and I think we just need one more connection over here. We'll put that in like so. It drives me a little bit crazy that it's not 90 degrees, but that's just the way that the district developed over time, and we're not even going to complain about it. So wonderful. And you know what? While we're at this, I think it would make a lot of sense to connect this up. Yeah, we'll let some of that traffic bounce out to this area instead of going through this busy junction. I'm going to assume this will be a busy junction. You know what? The water and power things are driving me crazy, so let's get some pipes under the road. I believe now we have full water and, well, water coverage anyway. Power is still proving to be a challenge, so we just need to put sneak a little line back there and they'll stop complaining. What else can we do with the road layout? It's looking pretty good. I think it's nearly finalized. One thing I do want to do is sneak a road through here. I think it would make a lot of sense to have some connectivity on that side. But before I do that, let me get in the key wall, which I've forgotten. That's looking pretty great. I like it a lot. And let's just fix some of this height here. Now I should be able to get a road underneath this. I hope it doesn't make me a liar, but we are definitely going to try that. Hate to take out that building, but it is what it is. I'm ruthless. Oh, I'm so pleased with myself right now. That is fantastic, fantastic. We have some extra connectivity. We have the back roads that only the locals know about. Yeah, what did I miss? What other connections do I need to make here? Okay, I'm actually going to leave this government district alone for a second, and I'm going to bounce over here to Reinsgard. And you might be wondering why. Well, because I want to extend the monorail. So what we're going to do is get a monorail station in here, and we're going to try to snake the monorail pathway, or the track, down through the roads. So let's see how it goes. Could be a disaster. Let's try it. Aha, so this train station really hates me, and that really is frustrating. But I had to do the same thing when I played with it earlier, so I've actually got to move this train station, which is just such a pain in the butt for rebuilding lines. But that's what we have to do to get in our monorail road here, so let's do it. So, little idiosyncrasies of the game, and I hope I didn't break my train line. I fear that I did. Maybe it's none the wiser, so we're gonna hope that it's fine. We do have a bus line coming in here. I just want to make sure I didn't break, well, that's actually two, so I want to make sure I didn't break either of them. What? Oh, that's the bus line. I get it. Okay, so yeah, they should be fine. I think they're, yeah, this one's stopping out here. I'm not sure why. Maybe I'm gonna pull it just in a little bit to give it more room. We should be fine, but I gotta break some more stuff, especially these paths. And by the way, yes, I see these paths, how ridiculous they are. They're all elevated paths. That would never happen in a million years. I thought it looked cool more than a year ago, but we'll just kind of rejig this a little bit. And before I get ahead of myself, I want to make sure I'm getting my my path in here, my ferry path. And so we're going to, against my better judgment, rebuild that and make it a little more straight. Yeah, messed that up. Okay. So I got a little bit lucky just playing with it, but man, that is it's stressful sometimes when something you do breaks, and it shouldn't break, but it did. But we're fine. Let's continue this ferry line. All right, now we can safely build our monorail track, and let's see where exactly it needs to go and how high it needs to go to cross both the water and this train track over here. Yeah, that looks halfway decent, except if we ignore this little bit here, which I don't think there's anything I can do about that because the road is determining the height of this, and this highway is determining the height of that. So, you know, there's a little jog, but for the most part, it looks fairly smooth. And I have to confess, I'm a big fan of monorails. I think they're one of the coolest forms of transportation in the game. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that line in. Perfect, so we have a new line, it's functioning. I knew there was a reason I was putting this monorail track in here, not really knowing where it was going, but it definitely is going to add something when we have this rapid transit taking us right in front of the United Nations building here. And yeah, we have now a quick way to get to Rhineskard, which we did not have before. And while I'm over here, let's fix all the paths that I broke because this is looking a little wonky. Alright, we've put it mostly back to normal, and in the process of building this road, it looks like I demolished some other stuff. So we're just going to take this path out, don't need it anymore, and we're going to rezone whatever was here. I assume it was commercial, given that we've got a big, giant, noisy train station over here. And we'll fire in a little bit more residential. And we've got one of our busiest train stations here, 381, it's not bad, I've seen it up higher. We've got all the bus lines coming in here too, and now we have a monorail station. So let's see at the end of the episode how that performs. What's next? Let's bounce over back to our government area and see what we want to do with ourselves. I forgot to rename this. There we are, Ministry of Health. Perfect. And it's still treating no patients, which I guess makes sense since there's nobody living in this neighborhood. But we've got the key walls in, we've got our paths in. I'm not sure how many more paths we're going to use. I like the red ones because it ties in with our theme from the other end of the government district. And, you know, I wonder if we can just be consistent here a little bit without being silly. I'm not sure we need that. Okay. All right, let's see. So we do have a wild amount of residential demand. I think we're gonna get some of that. I know we're gonna get some of that filled right now. And we'll start on the right side of the collector, the arterial here. And we'll start from the bottom and move our way up. So here we go. So the first thing I've done is I've created a district here, and I'm going to leave it as a default style. I kind of want to get back to doing some of those older style buildings from the base game, and I want to just fire in some density and some height in here because it's really next to the downtown, so that would make a lot of sense. And we're going to call this Hammarskjold. Very Nordic name, very northern, I don't know, Norwegian maybe? Who knows? What I do is I just go on Google Maps and I scroll through the northern countries, everywhere from Siberia to like the North Sea, and just look for tiny little city names that I don't know what they mean, but they sound cool to me, so I put them in. And if you have some names for our new districts, please let me know. And you know, before I start willy-nilly zoning in here, why don't we get in some of our amenities for the neighborhood? We definitely want a post office, which is in the post office tab right here. We'll get that like so across from the school. We're also going to want some parks. I think we'll use one of the new park assets like we've done on the other side of the street to get in some of those facilities, and we'll try to center that. Was hoping to center that right on this building, but no dice, it's not going to work. It's close enough. And we need another fire station, I'm sure of it, over here. So let's get in one of these larger fire stations. Yeah, there are options now, that's fine. We'll get that on the corner here. That's sort of near this what is it, a 6-way junction. Let's see, we need a bank. Let's get a bank in here. Do I like that version? Yeah, it's pretty cool. Let's stick with that. What else? Death care, of course. You know what, actually, before I do that, let's get in some of the bigger buildings, starting with our warehouses. And I'm hoping we can squeeze just too tight, but what about on this side? Yeah, that could work. How about over here? No, okay. We'll go with what we can do. And I also want to get a recycling center in here without poisoning anybody with the ground pollution. So we'll actually set this to fill, and we'll set it to goods, because I really don't want our commercial zones to start calling for goods. And one of the things I've noticed is that Stavanger, our whole downtown zone, it's actually got a policy on here from many moons ago, I guess I put it on, that businesses sell twice the amount of goods. So we're ripping through the goods, and we may want to make sure that we have plenty of them available in the area so that we're not bottlenecking anywhere. What did I say? We're gonna do a recycling center. Kind of fits perfectly there, so it has to go there. It's central. What else? Yeah, I wanted to get a soccer field in there just so that our students over here, the elementary and the high school, have somewhere to go. It's kind of sad when they don't have a lot of outdoor space, so I'm coming to their rescue in this regard. What other buildings do we need? Yes, childcare and elder care. I definitely want to squeeze that in, so let's see if I can actually get that in here. That's kind of unorthodox, I admit, but you'll see the method to my madness. This corridor here is going to be a park, and these elderly fine folks will have the best view in the city, and we'll stick our childcare center next to it. We can leave a bit of separation with a fence or something around this yard. Why don't we get that in now? Just a little more privacy, just a little more security, and it's filling in. I like it. Now let's get some more of this residential in here. More death care in the form of a crab preservatory right there, and then I think we're going to fill up the rest of this area with low density commercial. Other thing I'm going to do is give the government district a new theme. So we're going to go to the residential section here, and we're going to do self-sufficient buildings, just like we did downtown here. So we're going to get some of these, and I really like that. I didn't want this to be just an office area, just a commercial area. I mean, ideally I'd zone this all office because it is a government district, but we have no demand for industrial. And as I explained previously, I went a little crazy with building industry in the last, well, many episodes ago, and we just don't have the demand. So we're going to pretend that these office buildings are government buildings. So I've just gone very deliberately in through here and attempting not to get too close to the railway, attempting not to put the buildings all next to each other, because I find that these self-sufficient buildings, they look really great when they don't touch each other. It looks more realistic as well. And there's one other little thing I want to do here, and we're going to paint a new district in order to accomplish that. Really small little district here, but I want to give it the policy organic and local. And now we can come in here and zone all the way down, except for the path is a little bit not centered, so on the road. So we're gonna just fix that. Great, so now we're gonna get these little food stalls, farmers markets, things like that, and it's gonna look really cool. We'll have a little, I don't know, it might be a little draw for people to come into the area on a weekend or something, and shop for groceries, but it's coming along. Okay, so we are moving toward the end of this build, but there are some more detail work type of things to do, and it really is the details that make a place. And so we're going to add a few little things that will make this area, well, first of all, these buildings level up. I have noticed that there's a lack of university coverage, and so we're going to add a small university over here, even though it seems like we have tons of capacity in our Valhalla University. I think we want a small little satellite campus over here to make these buildings grow up. We're going to fill in the rest of the zoning, and we're going to get this park in, among other things. So here we go. Yeah, I think just a small little faculty in here would helped for the game mechanics itself. Now, we do have tons of capacity in the other university, but this will help those buildings level up. I want to get some big buildings in here. Also, I noticed we're just a little bit short on park space over here, so we'll add a dog park. And I've paused that just so that I can get this fence back. I don't want my zoning breaking. I think it already did, but I can probably save it if I'm really careful and put the fence back here and block some of that zoning from coming back. And I'm not sure if we need to, but we'll just make sure that everything under there is covered, and we'll put back some of the zoning on this side. I'm trying not to get too close to the rail line because we don't want a building hitting a train or vice versa, so we'll leave it at that. The next thing I want to do is come in here and attach our subway lines. We've got the station in, but we don't have, and we can run this, but we don't have the line, the tunnels or the line connected, so we will get that in here. Nice smooth connection with our curved road tool. And then I'm not going to end this here. I actually want to continue with this, and I want this line to actually connect both with the Fjallesen station and the Reinskard station. And I'm not sure how busy those lines will actually be, but it does seem like a waste to not at least give that a shot. So we're gonna run a line here under the water. And we'll finish up that connection there, and let's see how can we adjust our subway lines in a way that makes sense. We might need a new line, or we might just be able to extend existing lines. So yeah, I'm seeing already something we can adjust. This blue line, I'm thinking it's coming from this side of the downtown and looping left, but it doesn't really make sense for it to take that turn. So we're just gonna let it go straight through. And you know what, even this white line, it should be connected to the government area as well. That way we have a connection from the main station here, the central station, to the government area over here. Let's get it in. Okay, great. So what we have now is the blue line running right through the bottom of downtown, the central station, up north and landing in Fjällsen, which is another big station itself. I thought it shouldn't go over here because we already have this station taking over here, but nothing from this side taking to Fjällsen. So better to have this station going across town, government, and then Rhineskard. We're just distributing the flow of transit users a little bit more evenly. And then I just pulled the purple line over, and that's replacing what the blue line was doing, heading into Volina, heading into the industrial zone and Volga High Tech. And I think this is gonna work really well. So we might have to look at those ridership numbers at the end of the episode and see what it's doing, but I'm pretty excited. And it looks like we actually missed a stop at the main station here, so I'll get that in. Much better. Okay, and we are really popping here. I'm loving this. It's feeling good. I just love connecting different parts of the city with everything else. And what's next? We're gonna play with the highway on-ramp a little bit. So thinking ahead, I'm a little bit worried. I see all this traffic turning here, and they're blocking up this right-hand turn lane. And I'm imagining that that will back up our streetcar, which is eventually going to be, I'm gonna put that in before the end of the episode. So I wanna create a secondary on-ramp for this, this highway access here. Let's do it now. So it's saying space already occupied. I think what that means is we need to just lower the ground a little bit. So I'm going to dezone just a little touch of this. And we're gonna get our road in here. And I think we only should have to go down maybe 3 or 6 meters, depending on how high that rail bridge is. So we'll use our right tool, and we'll try to smooth this out just a little bit. And let's see if our road can get underneath now. Yeah, perfect. So we'll just come out a touch, in fact, as short as we need to. We'll do the same on this side. And it doesn't like the node here, so I'm actually going to wipe this out. See, can I get the node here? I forget where exactly I want it to be, but I think it's here. No, that won't work, right here. I better just be careful and put in my road first. So there we have it, another little turn lane, well, a road, an on-ramp to get to the highway directly. And let's just do some lane mathematics here and fix this up. I do want to put a streetcar down this road. I just don't want it to get stuck on the right side, so I'm rethinking the whole 6-lane thing. You know, we can keep the 6 lanes, but there is, actually, let me check the 4-lane. I think we might have one with the median. We don't need bicycle lanes here, but I do want trees. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, I think that's gonna be good. We don't have a ton of traffic going down here, so I might actually just downgrade the whole thing to 4 lanes. For some, that's why. Let's just get the lanes downgraded. So it doesn't like whatever's happening here. It's saying space already occupied. So I just might have to delete that for a second. Use this as an opportunity to eliminate some trees. And there we have it. And the other thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a turn lane here, an extra lane. And so we'll go into our larger roads. I'm not sure if an asymmetric would be the best idea over here. Because we don't want to turn lane on the other side, do we? Actually, maybe we do. If we're going to put a lot of traffic through here, I might actually want to upgrade it to the full size with a median. So let's see if we have one with tram tracks and trees and a median. So if we want the median, it looks like we have to go with no trees, which I'm totally fine with. It's just a small segment, and we get our turn lane on the right side here. And I think I'm even gonna upgrade this a little bit, and we'll see if we can get some turning lanes for our streetcars. This one, however, I do want a bike lane on this. We'll destroy some buildings in the process, but I think this is the right move because we're gonna have a lot of traffic flowing down this street, coming from the highway, I believe, possibly more from this direction. I want the streetcar to be on this right side so it can turn straight into the median here without blocking the traffic that's coming through. And let's flesh out these roads here. I want a bit more capacity, and so we'll use our asymmetrical roads, which I just love. Okay, that looks awesome, and there is one more thing I want to do. I want to bring this streetcar line down, this tram line down through here and loop around in front of the building here. Yeah, I think that's going to work very well. Let's get our tram line in. So that's great. Now we have our tram line looping around here, and we have our bike lanes continuing. We're going to flesh out that network in a little bit. We have some asymmetrical roads adding a little capacity for cars coming south here. And I've turned this into a little bit of a pedestrian area. Of course, we need a service point, so let's get one of those in now. And first, let's fix this zoning. The fence that I broke here, not gonna work for us, so gotta fix it. That's very nice, and we're gonna call this UAN Square, which is the United Arctic Nations Square, and hopefully that will give us some, and we can run this now, that'll give us some increased land values around here, a little bit more walkability for sure. That took care of that. And you know what, we actually don't need the tram line running between these 2 points, so we'll downgrade that a little bit. And that's actually convenient because it's gonna be our park area running through here. Gives us a little bit of an easier way to cross the road. Yeah, I really like this 4-lane road with the wide sidewalks, pretty cool. And the last thing we need to do is just get some of these trees upgraded here. Looking good, looking very good. This is quite the new corridor here. It's you know, probably going to be one of the main streets in the city. And what else do we need to do here? So let's get these bike lanes in here. I like the 2-lane road with median trees and bicycle lanes, and we're going to try and connect that to the existing network. So we definitely want to continue this direction, and then we're coming down already with bike lanes here. So you know, we've got the bike network existing up in what is this called, Fjallesen, and so we're gonna expand this, and we're gonna move. I guess we don't need trees under there, but hey, we'll do it anyway. There'll be nighttime trees that don't need sunlight, and we'll continue this all the way along the waterfront. There we go, and all of a sudden this is a highly bikeable downtown. We've got bike lanes running all the way to the downtown over this direction, and now we've just connected that bike lane to the rest of the bike lane here in Fjallesen and even in Reinskard. I'm feeling good about that. It's really bikeable, and we're going to start to see a lot of bikers on the road, like so. Here we are. So very, very good work that we're doing here. I think it's time to get our park area in here. And as I said, this corridor that we've left alone so far, this was the old rail corridor. It was connecting to the rail lines here, the international rail lines, and this was our main station, the Grand Central Terminal. And the trains would run in here, and you'd catch your train from here. But the city didn't want to just fill that up with zoning. They wanted to actually encourage people to walk and to exercise outside, and so they created this into a park. And we're going to do that right now. So we have broken our pedestrian area in the process, or at least access to our service point. So if I fix that, are we cool? Are we cool, game? Yeah, I might need to extend the ped area just slightly. It is very tricky sometimes because it does snap to roads, as you know, and so we're just going to be very ginger with it and not go too far, and maybe even just touch it up slightly. Okay. I think that should work. Now, let's get our park amenities in here, starting with an actual park. Boy, that was a challenge, but we got it. All right, and now, you know what I think we have here is the old railway paths. And they're just gravel, but they are extending out, and you know what, even we can connect this to the existing connections on the other side. So we'll go with our grid on, and we'll try to sneak this right through here. I wonder if we can actually connect to that road below. I'm not sure that's a functioning road, and I'm not sure we'll be able to with the length of that road, but we'll hope it's connected. And then we'll just connect these up. I think this area deserves one of these bigger park gates, and centered right on the other monument here, the disaster memorial. And we're gonna need a bridge over top of here and a few more extra gates, so let's go. One thing I did, which I'm regretting, is I put no zoning on these roads here, so we gotta fix that. That is one of the, I guess you call it a feature of the last update, where it sticks with the last setting you had. And so I kind of get it, but it does create a lot of problems in my world when I do that. And I noticed that I just wiped out all of my zoning here, so inadvertent accidents, not ideal, but we deal. Colossal Order, if you're watching, that feature of, you know, accidentally toggling zoning off, it really creates a lot of headaches, so just a thought. All right, we've fixed that, and we can get back to what we were doing here. Okay, so that's the basic layout of this park. We've got our paths, which were the old rail network, and we've got a bunch of gates here, and you know what we're gonna do is rename this park. All right, so we have Järnväg Park. Now my Swedish is terrible, but Google Translate tells me that means railway park, and so it makes a lot of sense for it to maintain its history like that. Let's get in some amenities, some trees, and all that good stuff. Great, I think that's a good amount of amenities, and we've made this a free park, so it's not for making money, it's just for people to get in here, spend some time enjoying, relaxing, and I think we can move on to detailing. And before I do that, actually, I want to add a few more little park amenities, and I'm going to steal this park district, and we're going to bring it over to this little area here and get a few more. I don't know, what are we going to get in here? Let's see. Cool, just taking advantage of our waterfront and with a little bit of gazebo action. It's time for some trees, let's do it. Well, there it is. After 50,000 trees, things look a lot better. It really does change your city when you take the time to do some landscaping. And I really like how lush and green it's looking. I deliberately tried to make this rail corridor park look like a forest. I think I've succeeded. Look at all the people using this bridge right here. So this is going to become only a more and more popular park as time goes on. And we're gonna see more and more bikers through here. We've got tons of people using this park over here, just hanging, just congregating, and watching the trains go by. I wonder if maybe we should fence in this rail corridor a little bit. That's not perfect, but it does help keep some of the kids out of there. So, all right, what else is next? I think we've done most of it, but there are two things we need to do still. And, well, maybe three. And that's transit oriented. So we're going to get a new transit line in here, and we're gonna go streetcars, and we're gonna go buses. And actually, we're gonna start taking advantage of the walking paths that are bus only. I think we're gonna continue with this, is it Bluestone? Isn't that curious? I'm not sure why the bus is able to turn around in this this turnaround here. That's a streetcar line. We shouldn't be allowing buses on there, but apparently buses are also allowed on streetcar pedestrian roads. Learn something new every day. And let's go fix up some of those stops because I think they're a little bit uneven. That is so interesting to me. I expected it to just turn around at the end of this road. But, live and learn, okay. Okay, and I suspect that line is going to be quite popular because it is taking passengers from the end of this line, which is going to become the convergence of several lines, and tram lines rather, and then it's going to run them up the coast here at a transfer point at the subway and the streetcar line, and right into Fjellesen and to the main station. I love that these stations have the built-in bus turnaround. Pretty cool. It has to go all the way into the station, turn around. That's interesting. I'm still not sure why it's allowing this bus to turn around on this side. I just thought it would sort of end with some bollards here, but I guess not. No, there won't be bollards. Okay. Well, I'm not opposed to that. Let's get our streetcar line in. And I see a slight problem. We don't have anywhere for the streetcar to turn around unless we go all the way down here and circle around. So I think what we're gonna do is punch a streetcar line through here, give it a bit of a turnaround. Yes, that's what we'll do. That is the cost of progress. So let's finish that line. And I think this is gonna be a pretty popular line. So we're gonna upgrade this to a tram with 105 capacity. We'll give it a bit of a different color here so we can tell it apart from all the other lines in the area. And yeah, let's go see what those streetcars look like. I'm curious. We'll come down to our depot here, and they should be the green ones. So they're sort of meshing together, but ooh, yeah, okay, I like that. And they're not too long like some of the more high capacity ones. I approve. These are really cool. So we're gonna let that line run. I'm gonna run this at speed and see if we can get a little bit more of a sense of how productive this line is being. What else? So we're going to let that run, and what I will do is continue these lindens along the coast. I'll do that, of course, sped up, but as the game runs and I do this, we'll get a sense of how the tram lines are doing, and we'll check the tram and the bus at the end of this episode and see how we did. Okay, amazing. We have continued our Young Linden theme, and I gotta say, my hand is not that steady today, but it turned out just fine. So it really adds a little bit of something to the waterfront. Now we're carrying this theme all the way down as far as the eye can see. I guess we have a little break here, but that's unused area anyway. But it's a nice little theme that we've tied in all the way up and down. Yeah, I think it's looking really fresh, really treed in, and look at how many people are sitting here. I think this might be a rather well-used streetcar line. Let's quickly check that out and see if we need to make any adjustments. I'm not sure we've had enough time passed to really get all the streetcars from where they're the depot. Yeah, see, some of them are sort of backed up here. They're still trying to get downtown. This one's full, as you can see. That might just be because people have been waiting for a while for those streetcars to come from. And when I say streetcar, that's because I'm Canadian. That's what we call them. I know they're trams other places, but same. Yeah, I think we're gonna leave that line. It's looking good. It's definitely popular. 93% of car trips saved. Let's check our bus line. 71 passengers so far, 54% of car trips saved. I think that's gonna get more popular. I'm not seeing anyone passed up yet, although this is worrying me a little bit because oh, it's the end station. And what is this? Okay, there's a little bit of an earthquake that happened here apparently, and interestingly enough, it looks like people are connecting right to the train station from that pass. So, hey, happy accidents, right? So yeah, I like this bus line. This one is going to probably pass up. Did it already? Let's check. That is quite the parking job, my friend. Oh, it's fine. It looks like we emptied everybody there and picked up new passengers. So I think that's holding the line. It's holding its capacity. You know, I might switch to actually a biofuel bus just to reduce on the pollution. And finally, let's check our monorail. Let's see. It's not very well utilized yet. We're not even half full on most of these, so we're going to take this down to 2 vehicles, save some money, still have the service when it's needed. And I suppose let's check on our subway lines real quick. Let's see if everything is not broken yet. Our east-west line we didn't touch, Tropicana we didn't touch. The western line, that one is, where are we here? Right from downtown onward. Are we backing up? We certainly are. That is a significant backup at this junction here. And we're gonna have to fix that. So the question is, do we throw more on the line? I think we do. We're gonna need some more subway cars. Or do we simply upgrade them? Well, I think if we hit maybe 2 more, let's move it to 6, just to have enough capacity. That should be fine. And let's check the other ones. The Stavanger North. Serious backups. Ooh, that's wonderful. Right in front of our government station. It's providing a lot of connectivity to, I believe that's Rhineskard. And so we will need additional vehicles here as well. And so let's go up to 4, see if that solves our issue. And then the last one we need to look at is the downtown cross. All these lines doing very, very significant ridership. This one is oddly not that busy, and I'm wondering why that is. I don't see any stations that are backed up, although this is doing, you know, crosstown duty. It should be busier, but hey, maybe it's just that efficient. All right, well, nothing is overflowing. This one is a pass up. We'll go 1 more vehicle, and I think we're gonna leave it there. Wonderful. Let's take a look at our work. How do we do? So we have our last episode's government area, and the trees have grown back in after that fire, which is nice. And we have this flowing right into our new, what do we call this? This is our public service area, our United Arctic Nations area. Our government, really it's our bureaucrats area. So we have our ministries, we have some commercial sprinkled in with our residential, and these buildings will level up and they'll become those nice towers that we have downtown. We've definitely thought ahead with transit. We've got I think this is a cool little waterfront area for a place to go get a coffee before you hit your next coffee. And I really like the plaza as well. It turned out, in my opinion, very well. We've got some definite action in this area. We've got pedestrians, we've got vehicles, we've got police mobile command vehicles, and we've got the park, man. This is cool. I like that we're giving it a bit of a story. This was the old rail trail, or the old rail corridor, and now it's not. We've moved it. And so I think we've done well. How have we done on solving our traffic issues? We haven't really. We'll probably still need to address this again in another episode, but hey, it is moving. It's kind of flowing. There's just some maybe traffic lights we can play with, which we will. And our new highway access here, functioning well, really doing well. I'm gonna keep an eye on this, but at this point, I would say we have had a success. So what do you think? How do we do? Let me know in the comments what you think, what you would add, what you would take away. And if you appreciated this episode, just hit the like button for me. And consider hitting that the follow button, the subscribe button, the notification bell, whatever it is now these days, just so that you can get notified for new content and so that this content can be shared with more City Skylines enthusiasts like you. I'm having fun with it, and I'm going to keep having fun with it until the end of October when we get City Skylines 2, in which case I fully plan to shift over to building a new city over there. So I'm working on accomplishing as many episodes in this build as possible, and I hope you join me for the ride. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.